Morning everyone, and welcome back to Nat's Knackers Yard. I'll be Nat and this will be my Knackers Yard. It is early. You're not going to make any sense out of that because that is a backwards clock. It's like 7:30. So the one thing I'm not going to, is a Sunday morning. So the one thing I'm not going to do is start this bike up because it is loud. I'll show you, got guests, got this busy in the household this weekend and Midland's birthday as well. So I've not been doing a lot and I certainly haven't been filming a lot. Excuse me, but I've been doing a bit of tinkering in the gaps between things. So I've tidied up the wiring. I will show you that, or the end result of that. Wiring is now done and dusted. The working lock set is in it, which is all funky-dory, sparks up. I was going to say runs and rides. I've not taken it anywhere, but yeah, it does. And I think actually, let me try and get you a bit of an angle, I think it actually looks pretty good. It is getting there. What I'm going to try and do today is 2K clear the tank, to take that off and take it up the other side. And that's probably realistically about all I'm going to end up achieving. But we'll see how we get on. And I've held off on doing that predominantly because I want to put some 2K on the cap as well, on the fuel cap, and until I'd worked out which key set I was going to use, which fuel cap I'm going to use, and now that's all sorted. So the fuel cap that goes with that same key is now black, and I'll 2K as well, because let's face it, it's a bit that's most likely to get fuel on it. Yeah, I've got the panels on. I think I've come to an idea on the seat. And it's not the fiberglass option, so despite the fact I just jam those indicators in, I quite like the look. I'd like them smaller, so I am looking for smaller ones, and at the moment I do kind of need smaller ones because they just snare the seat, but yeah, that's the question. Right, so under there, it's just a chunk of metal I threw on for size more than anything else. I have had to, that keeps popping out whenever I put any weight on it, but that's fine. I've sliced off the top a little bit to get it nice and flat off the top. Now a few people have suggested things to look at, and I have been looking at them. I do read all of my comments and I try and reply to all of them. I don't miss many, but I do try and reply. Questions over whether or not I can heat up and bend in, or whether or not I can just, ratchet strap and just beast them closer together. Now the slight problem I got is that's a main structural bar, and that's not far away, so that is strong because of that, so it's not going to bend in. It's also a joint with another bar, so it's not one bar I'm bending, it's potentially two, and they are welded together there. So I've really not got a lot of hope of bending that through. I could try heating it up, but I don't have the capabilities for that. I don't have a blowtorch really, I don't want to stand here with my wife's creme brulee maker. I just don't think it's going to work. So bending, no, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to play. Hooping. I could wedge a hoop. I'm not sure if that's a phrase, but I wouldn't say it outside of school. Because the width of the seat, I'm just gonna, I'm gonna get a gap on the inside of the hoop before I get to the seat. So again, I don't think an option. Certainly not at this point anyway. So I quite like the whole idea of, if you can't hide it, make a feature. So I want to put the indicators on those. Quite like the look. Now the seat, and how do I make it structural? So it's only a plastic base, although there's no passenger ability on this. It's a single ride, and your riding position, and bearing in mind I'm 6'3", I'm quite gangly, I've had a sit to work it out. Your arse goes on top of this. You know, unless you've got, I mean, I've got fucking 36-inch inside leg. Unless you're bigger than that, you're not going to be sat beyond that mark. But what you don't want is that on there. You're sat outside a cafe, or, you know, you're sparking up a fag outside of a pub. You sit on the back and your seat snaps. So that plastic ain't strong enough. Now what I'm thinking is, if I have a sheet of metal that goes underneath, it's going to pin at the front anyway to stop it from rocking. I want to try and save, I've kept the seat over there, I want to try and save the seat lock so you can lock it and unlock it. So it pins under, on there and across the back to support the back. It's already got the bolts in it. I think I'm going to end up having to strip the cover off this so that I can adjust the base, but that's fine. I've got the capability to recover the seat, and it fundamentally it fits, the foam's there, etc, etc, etc. And what that then gives me is something like metal strip out the back. I may have to reinforce it as well, pinned under, which comes to the back of the seat. Now what this does give me is the ability to potentially put a bracket on the end of that metal and bang the plate up the back. I could chuck it on the side as usual, and that's always going to be my fallback. I've done it on bobbers. You know, I think it looks good. I think this would look better, probably with a slightly smaller plate as well, but certainly not for its MOT. So it's going to end up something like that, which I kind of like. I do kind of like. While we're on the aesthetics, before I get to the wiring, stay Dave. On the back plate, I'm starting to move away from the obvious look of trying to look like a transformer. Now I didn't do these as a corner because at the time there was cowling that was covering it. I don't know whether or not I need to remake those with a corner. That side's fine, but you know, I could get away with that. Obviously this has to be painted black, etc, etc. This side, because again I was covering up the corners, it's now too high. So if I do keep these, which I probably will, I'm going to have to go for a fresh cut a little bit lower, which means that I'm going to have to rub that down, reprime, etc, etc, and probably not Optimus Prime. Nice segue in that. Thank you, Nat. Yeah, cool. Don't know yet. It's evolving. That's the beauty of doing bikes like this. It is evolving. Oh, that's the other thing that I did is, I can't show you it working now, but I've sorted the rear brake and the brake light. It was literally, I've taken these off and repainted them during the week. It's just another 5-minute job, but it is just adjusting. It was just the spring length. The spring length was too short. Whoever had put it on had cocked it up, so I just unbent the string slightly, rebent it. Job's a fish. Right, let's have a look. Right, so tanks off. Wiring is a lot smarter now on the ignition. That's all nicely tucked away. I've got my branch cable. Yes, it's white. That's what I had at the time. I'll probably just cut it short, and until I've worked out where I put the rear light, I'm really not that bothered, to be honest. But taped it up. That now runs round to the back. Happy. Had to take all the front off again. That's an arse ache and a half, that. Real pain in the ass. But yeah, it all looks smarter and it all now works, which I'm happy with. And the branch down here, where I needed to put that extra earth in, I've branched off, and that's now on the proper earth next to the battery rather than tagged on to the bolt at the back there. All with proper connectors, all sealed, etc, etc. So that is now considerably better. I do want to at some point swap the filters, the cone filters around, because I've got my shitty ones on the outside. I'll just swap them, put the new shiny. I was looking at getting 4 new ones, but frankly it's not worth it. I'll put the shittier repurposed ones on the inside, put the new funky ones on the outside, and you'll see the new funky ones when they're on the bike. Yeah, so as far as that seat's concerned, and the structuring, making stronger the seat making stronger the seat. It's essentially looking at sheet metal that goes under, a bit of a bend, so it goes under to hook, much the same as there was on my Franken bike on the SV650. Under there pinned back with the light on it, bolted onto that seat. Right, there you go, a little bit of a catch up. Let's get this tank going. Right, okay, so my setup is functional, it works. Typically, if you're going to mention paint, don't do it out loud because the weather will turn crap. But this has me undercover. I've got my fuel cap there, got the little dangly flat bit, the pull flap there. Paint wise, I've gone back to the 2K Clear Pro, the Pro XL stuff. I bloody love this stuff, it's great. Really good cone when you're spraying, directional, vertical, horizontal, little notch at the top. As with any proper 2K clear, you have to take the bottom off. A little tab you need to pull and twist, and it mixes the clear and the paint. The lacquer and the coat itself. The one thing I would say though, it is nasty shit. I should wear face masks more often when I'm spraying bog standard spray paint, but generally, almost exclusively, I'm doing it in the garden, I'm doing it in open air, I'm less concerned. I'm here with my head in a small room. Use a mask, people. Particularly this stuff, there's some nasty shit in that you really don't want in there. Hardener, that's the word I'm looking for, the hardener that mixes, and it's the hardener that's nasty on the old lungs. So I use one of these, I think 20 quid from Screwfix. Yeah, so it is a JSP Force. It's really good, really easy to breathe through. You don't feel too tied up in it. Should cover your skin as well. I'm not so fussed about my hands, but certainly your arms and your face. Well, this does it, and definitely your eyes. But yeah, wear a mask when you're using 2K Clear, even if you're doing it outside, would be my advice. It is pretty nasty stuff, and not that many years ago you could only get it if you were a professional doing it properly in a booth. Right, so I'm not going to film me spraying. There's countless videos of me spraying on this channel already. Please feel free to jump back and have a look as far as technique's concerned. But so what I'm going to do, probably a couple of dust coats, maybe 3, see how it goes down before I start doing anything wet. And I might jump in and out a couple of times throughout. Right, let's go on with it. Alright, there you go, one quick dust coat. Oh, excuse me. Just proof I do wear my mask. One quick dust coat on all the bits. Worryingly, I quite like the smell of that, knowing it's just solvent. But yeah, so quick dust coat, give it 10 minutes, chuck it on, and we'll just keep going. And while you've got a few minutes spare, go and check out Charlie and the Motorcycle Rescuer's latest video. Cheers all, catch you in a bit. Right, so that's 2 dust coats. That shine's starting to come through already, which is nice. While I think of it though, I was at my local cheapy shop, little hardware shop, Fazer. So Cam Brush is the lacquer that I use, the candy coat, the candy coat that I normally use, and it is the yellow that's on there as well, which I love. If you've seen any of my other videos, they're really good spray paints, and they're really quite cheap as well. I found a clear. I didn't realise I did a clear. I probably did, I probably just not really noticed it. But so what? I normally on the non-petrol contact points, i.e. not the tank, so on my plastics, my metals, my mud guards, my side pieces, etc., I normally use Halford's clear coat on them as a lacquer, just to give them a bit of depth. And it's fine, but it's quite thin, and it's not petrol resistant at all. Now arguably you don't really need petrol resistance on your mudguard. If you've got petrol on your mudguard, your concerns are greater, because it probably means you're upside down in a ditch. But I saw this and thought I'll give it a go, because at a £5 it's, I think, cheaper than Halford's, yet it's good quality paint. So yeah, I might give it a go. I think, if I remember, because it does claim petrol resistance, I have done a previous video of petrol resistance testing the candy coat, and it's bloody good. It really is good. But I think what I'm going to try and remember to do, I'm going to give this a go on mudguards and all of this sort of stuff when I get to it, which I'm a way off. But I will have to remember to do a test sheet, actually a test sheet of metal. I've got loads kicking around. Bang a few coats of this on and see how petrol resistant it is. Just chuck some petrol on it and you know, time it, see how it goes. But yeah, I'm quite sad, but I'm quite excited about that. I really am, because I'm going to have to, I might get hold of them, see if I can get sponsorship or some free stuff. I'm not endorsed by CamBrush at all. They're just brilliant products, I think. It's really good stuff. I say it's brilliant products. I haven't found anything better yet. If you found better paint that you don't have to remortgage your house to buy, then please let me know. Yeah, I suppose at some stage I'll probably step up to a compressor and proper airbrushing. But at the moment, I'm getting what I need out of can, so why would I? Every bit of equipment that I put in my garage gives me less space to do bikes. So if I can just get a can, use it and chuck it away, then why not? But yeah, stay tuned, and I'll not on this video. It's you know, I'm a way down the road of doing the other body panels yet, but I am going to give this a go because yeah, I'm quite excited about it. Good stuff. Right, so we're a couple of wet coats down, probably got one more to go on. It's looking good. If you're using this stuff, this Pro XL, and you get hazing, particularly on black, I've noticed, or on dark, excuse me, on darker colours, don't worry about it. You get that oh shit moment, I've ruined it. It will dry clear, it's fine. Right, so one more to go on that. A little bit more, a little bit on that. Another complete plug. If you've not subscribed to Bertie Budget, please do. Carl's an excellent bloke, and actually the little YBR that he's doing at the moment is a really interesting project, because it was utterly trash when he got it, and he's got it running, and he's now doing all the other bits on it. It's good stuff. It's good stuff, and he swears more than I do, which is rare, frankly. Right, I'm going to get this coat on, and then I'll show you what I've been tinkering with the seats in the meantime. Right, that's the last one on, and that hazing that I was talking about. I'm not sure how well it comes through on a camera actually, but you can see it just looks a bit hazy. Yeah, don't worry about it, it dries clear. But it is worrying when you first get it and you think you put in all that effort, and the final stage is going to go tits. It'll clear itself out. Right, let's go check that seat out. Right, so while that tank cures, and whilst the weather's crappy out there, so I'm kind of jammed in the back of the garage as usual, I'll show you what I've done. So effectively, I've got the mounting bolts on this. I've got the pieces for the seat. In fact, I do know where they are. They're over here. Yeah, I do have the mounting pieces, but frankly, I don't really want to use them because it's not mounting on a classic plate. So got a bit of cardboard, got a strip. And the beauty of doing cardboard before you do any metal is the fact that it's so malleable, and you can just, particularly when you're trying to find blind holes, just lean on it, push it, get the dent, jam a screwdriver through it. Simple. So it's got 2 bolts at the front there, and 2 at the sides that would normally have these hook pieces in them. And in fact, actually, that might be better to hook under. I'll have a look. But at the moment, at least, it also means that I could find taken the bracket off the old seat and put that on. So what I've got then is a stronger, considerably, well, stronger, it's cardboard, but you know what I'm saying, when it's metal it would be stronger, piece that will slide under the seat, hook onto the actual mounting, straight off, straight on 118, and will hold that seat better, and will be stronger because it's got sheet steel rather than reinforced plastic. So what now? Got a bit of metal there. I'm going to cut it, use the cardboard as the guide for the holes, and see if it works. It's late enough that I don't feel too bad about making a load of noise in the garage. Cool, be right back. So there we go, just as a bit of proof that that haziness does clear up. Ooh. Little bit, you know, a fair amount of orange peel, but frankly you're going to get that, particularly if you're spraying in these temperatures. You know, the tank, the metal itself is cold, so it's going to do that. It's fine, it's easy to buff out, you know. It's nothing I haven't done before, but that is now curing nicely. Actually drying really quite quickly. Not going to touch that, not going to mess around with it. I'll bring it in tonight, bearing in mind it's still quite early, still about what, 10 o'clock ish. I'll bring it in tonight into the ideally in the house if I'm allowed. Depends how smelly it is. Failing that, it'll just go into the garage and get put away. But I'm not touching it, not going near it, not putting any fingerprints anywhere near it, etc. Right, let's give you a catch up on progress on the seat. Right, so back over to my workbench, my bins. What was cardboard is now metal. I haven't gone for the lip under the tank hinge because I've got one with a seat, why not use it? And it's reinforced as well because it's bent steel. So all good. What I've also done is I've taken the rubber stops out of that and put them on the plate. I don't know if it's going to work, but I think it should, he says, hopefully. Right, I'm going to attach this to that and see how we get on. Right, so that's now neatly secured on. I haven't overdone the bolts because it's only bolting into the plastic, so I don't want to push it too hard. So if I slide that under there, look for the pointing you around, waving you around. So that's tucked under the front. I've still got my seat lock. Job, as they say, is almost a fish. And what's more important, and also importantly I should say, rather than more important, I've got a small bracket on the back on which I can attach my rear light and have it not at the side, which is, excuse my French, fucking brilliant. Right, let me tinker and I'll bring you back. Right, okay, so a bit later I've got another bit of thicker on there just to give me a little bit more weight as much as anything else. Pop riveted on, and more obviously, seatbelt mounted. License plate mounted. Right, now this slides on. Typically the cables are currently a tiny bit too short. Slides on, clips on, seat locked. Look at that. I'd love to have the lights on just to show you that it works, but that is pretty sweet. I get just enough height there as well to do what I wanted to do to cover up those end bits. Let's just bang a light in. Where's the other one gone? Bang a light in. So I'll have to drill an exit hole for the cable in, but I'm not entirely sure of that yet, but I just think it looks suitably fucking weird, frankly. No, well happy. The only bit that I still not sure that I want to, that I either want to do it or have to do it, but I do want to do it, and that is just to put a strut across there, just to give that extra bit of support to that back end of the seat, because I've got a bit of a hinge point. I have to strip that all off and paint it anyway. I say paint it, just chuck some black on it just so it's not so clearly metallic, and that's only my own anality getting there. I need to trim off a couple of edges as well, or just round them off. As far as the strut bit's concerned, what I may just use is my rivet strip. I'm not quite sure what you're looking at there. There we go. Because I think I am out of playtime today. So I've got my rivet strip that I used for quite a lot, and I think that's just a riv nut on the inside there. Bend that stuff over, bend it round, do it on the other side, and it just offers that little bit of, you know, cushionage. Obviously that's done really wankily at the moment. It just offers that extra bit of cushionage for the back. Now obviously you're not going to get a rear passenger on it, but like I say, you know, if you're sat at a calf and lean back, you know, the last thing you want is your seat snapping in half. Good luck snapping that in half, but you know what I'm talking about. You know where I'm coming from. Sweet. Right. That's me for the day. That's me for the day. While I've got my tools out, I'm just going to strip that off, whip that off, and that means throughout the week I can just chuck some matte black on it just to calm it down so it doesn't stick out quite. You can't see it, it's under the seat fundamentally, but yeah. And I'll have a bit more of a think of how to just add a little bit more bulk onto that bulkhead, if you like, and how I'm going to secure those. Don't know yet, but yeah, cool. Right, that's me. Thanks very much all. Thanks for watching. See you again.